Hello, guys and gals, and this is going to be a reading from Pokemon Visual Guide by, been a while since I've done one of these videos, so let's check. I just saw the visual effect there. By Chris Silvestri and Katherine Fang. So as I said, this is part 4 of our reading, and I'm finally getting back into reading this book. And let's go to the bookmark. I think we left off here on a section on Kanto. And we're going to read this here while we scroll over this beautiful rendition of the game map. Kanto is Ash's home, hailing from the small village of Pallet Town, which also happens to be the home of Professor Oak. Ash traveled across the region, exploring everything from Mount Moon in the north to the Indigo Plateau in the east. From the island resort of Cinnabar Island in the south, or I think that's Cinnabar right there, to Pewter City and Cerulean City in the north. Kanto offers many different walks of life. Kanto's Saffron City is the largest metropolis in the region, located in the center of Kanto between the Celadon City and Lavender Town. Perhaps the most unique man-made feature is the Oceanic Bridge, spanning the entire Gulf area of Vermilion City. Travelers can ride, walk, or bike across the great expanse. That's awesome. I really like the rendition. And we have one of these. Professor Oak. And there's a nice little panoramic here of Professor Oak. Professor Oak is an important figure in the Pokemon universe and to Ash. He often serves as his mentor and friend. He's also there for Ash with timely advice or a piece of his world-famous Pokemon poetry. Props for the prof. Professor Oak is the first in the line of arborist professors we meet throughout the Pokemon universe. Professors are usually named after some type of tree or plant. Professor Birch, Professor Elm, Professor Ivy, and even Professor Rowan. First and foremost, Professor Oak is a Pokemon researcher, a man who studies the behavior of Pokemon and their interactions with the human community. He's credited with a ton of material that's related to Pokemon, and all that data helped him to build his greatest invention ever, the Pokédex. While he always shows a keen intellect and sage wisdom, Professor Oak actually knows a bit about battling as well. His Pokemon of choice is the extremely powerful Dragonite. Poetry. Professor Oak's a poetry master, making up thoughtful haiku about Pokemon, and not only describing a Pokemon, but answers some of life's questions as well. Wobbuffet. When life is a mystery, it is your answer. Now, let's read about Home Sweet Home. Oak's vast lab, and it has to be vast since he holds hundreds of Pokemon, is in Pallet Town, Ash's hometown. We get a few glimpses of the lab as Oak reports to Ash, or vice versa. It is the storage area for all Pokemon and trainers that trainers wish to leave when their rosters get too full. He lives up the road from Delia Ketchum, Ash's mom. His most recent assistant is Tracy Sketchit, who shares similar interest in Pokemon and art. He has a cocky, brash grandson named Gary Oak. And let's see. Of the 3 starters that Oak is known to give out, only 2 are shown. We've never seen him give a Charmander away, and the only other Pokemon he has given out is Pikachu. That's fascinating. Now, let's talk about Misty. Yeah, Misty. It says here, she's a hothead, cranky, and very emotional. She also has a tender side that comes out when caring for Togepi. But what Misty has that few others possess is a determination for the best fuel. Is a determination that is best fueled by sibling rivalry. Okay, I had to read that again. Water, water everywhere. Okay. Misty loves water-type Pokemon, and she'd better. Her sisters run the Cerulean Gym in Cerulean City, but her chance encounter with Ash sets off a series of events that turns her life upside down. But the biggest mystery surrounding Misty is how or when she and Ash will finally come to realize that they're made for each other. Misty and her three older sisters, Daisy, Violet, and Lily, run the Cerulean City Gym. In order to make a name for herself, Misty sets off on her own to become the greatest water-type Pokemon trainer ever. She eventually returns to the gym out of a sense of duty and makes a name for herself as a much better gym leader than her sisters. Let's see. That's my bike. We'll read that one next. So how did Misty and Ash meet? Pikachu was fleeing a flock of Spearow, and Ash was in hot pursuit. After snagging Ash and Pikachu on her fishing pole, they beat a hasty retreat on Misty's borrowed bike. Later, when Pikachu bravely faces down the flock, its Thundershock fries everything to a crisp, including Misty's bike. Misty's bike was repaired and returned to her by the Viridian City nurse Joy. Okay, now trauma drama. Oh wow, that's an Ariados, I think. Misty fears a number of Pokemon, but most notably bug-type Pokemon. She won't even befriend bug types caught by Ash. She lists them as one of the three most disgusting things in the world: carrots, peppers, and bug types. She once had a fear of Gyarados. One tried to eat her when she was a baby. She got over it after calming and gaining the trust of an angry Gyarados at the Cerulean City Gym. Now let's go over Misty's Pokemon. We have Horsey. After befriending this Horsey, it was later transferred back to the Cerulean City Gym for further strengthening. Okay, let's go over to Psyduck now. Misty got Psyduck by accident. Misty trips, falls, loses a Pokeball, and Psyduck hops in. Staryu and Starmie. Staryu, another original for Misty. This unassuming Pokemon has counted for quite a few victories. Starmie. This Pokemon was also one of Misty's original Pokemon, but was seldom seen in the show. She did use it against Ash in her gym battle for the Cascade badge. Corsola. Corsola was caught after Misty found it terrorizing other Corsola in the Whirl Islands. She used it in many battles where it proved to be an admirable fighter. Next we have Togepi. It says here, Togepi began as an egg that became the center of a battle between everyone involved. Ash found the egg, Brock took care of it, Meowth raised the egg, but when it hatched, Togepi connected with Misty. Goldeen. One of the Pokemon that Misty originally started out with. It can only be used in the water. That makes sense because it is a water type and it is a fish. Okay, it says here, Poliwag. Misty befriended Poliwag in the Orange Islands after a Vileplume used its Stun Spore attack on Ash and Tracy. Although seldom used, it evolves into a powerful Poliwhirl later. Okay. Next we have... Wait. That's a love disc. It says Katherine. Okay, Katherine. Katherine is a love disc that Misty acquired in Kanto. After trying unsuccessfully to foster a romantic relationship with another love disc, it battles its way out of trouble and wins the affection of its target. So Katherine is the name of the love disc. That's cool. And there's Azurill. Ash is reunited with old friends, including Misty, who now has an Azurill she hatched from an egg. Okay. Sensational siblings. Okay, it says here, Misty's sisters perform a synchronized swimming act under the stage named the Three Sensational Sisters. Apparently, they don't count Misty as being that sensational, and refers to her as a runt. But it was Misty, not her sisters, who battled Ash for the Cascade Badge when he fought at the Cerulean Gym. Okay. And in Japanese anime, all the hair colors mean something, but I don't remember what. Okay, we're to Brock. Brock. Steady as a rock type Pokemon he once favored, Brock is a wise, talented Pokemon breeder with one big weakness: pretty girls. Most of the time, Brock takes care of his friends, dispensing sage advice and making sure everyone is fed. But when Brock goes gaga over a girl, it's his friends that have to rein him in. Brock is a born caretaker, an ace hand at caring for his 9 younger siblings as well as all types of Pokemon. His specialty is cooking delicious food for people and Pokemon, but he has a knack for just about anything domestic, from sewing to sweeping floors. What's more, he genuinely enjoys domestic work, but his household duties kept him chained to his gym until his absent father, Flint, returned to take over the gym. That does make sense, Flint being a type of rock. Brock thought he'd found paradise in the Orange Islands helping out Professor Ivy, but he returned a broken man. For a time, he recuperated at Ash's house and fought with Mr. Mime for the privileges of doing chores and errands. Brock has a book for everything. Whenever he finds himself in a new situation, he takes diligent notes in his notebook. He also has a book to keep track of pretty girls, and the instructions for all his chores are recorded in a notebook as well. It's not all cooking and laundry. Polishing his rock-type Pokemon with sand and a scrub brush is another one of Brock's regular chores. After Brock joined Ash and Misty, he eased up on the stern gym leader act. Not only did he start to show his goofy, girl-crazy side, he's the gang's go-to man when it comes to region information, battle strategy, and Pokemon trainer relationships. And let's go over Brock's Pokemon. Brock has a Geodude. Like Brock's original Onix, Geodude was a mainstay of his gym battling team at the Pewter Gym. Now it's back at the gym under Forrest's care. Now we have Onix. Back when Steelix was an Onix, it was already so imposing that Pikachu tried to sneak out of their gym battle. Brock left Onix with his brother Forrest, who raised it into a Steelix. Okay. Zubat. Zubat took a very long time to evolve into a Golbat, finally evolving in a battle with Team Rocket. It reached its final stage, a sleek Crobat, in attempting to chase down Team Rocket in of all things, a rocket. So yeah, that makes sense. And then there we have Crobat and Golbat. All in the Family, which is also a song by Korn. Korn. All in the Family. To understand Brock, it's essential to understand his family. Brock's parents, Flint and Lola, met in a Pokemon battle. They've kept the romance alive to this day, but Flint has difficulty adjusting to life as a family man. When things get tough, he runs off to the Pewter City outskirts and sits there in disguise. The first time, it was because he never became the Pokemon trainer he wanted to be and couldn't face his family. Second time, he simply couldn't bear to stand up to his dear wife Lola. Brock's mother Lola is loving but flighty, always busy with new hobbies. She likes to paint and decorate the house and the Pewter City Gym, unless she's stopped by Brock. Flint is hard in name only. He had no choice but to let Lola turn the Pewter Gym into a water-type gym. As for Brock's siblings, all 9 of them, Forrest, Salvador, Yolanda, Tommy, Cindy, Susie, Timmy, and the twins, Tilly and Billy, looked to him to keep the household functional. There are a lot of them. Now we're going to continue with Brock's Pokemon, but first we're going to read up here. Brock, the gym leader. Before Ash and Brock were pals, Ash was another challenger at the Pewter Gym. Brock was unimpressed with Ash's ability to raise his Pokemon and let him know as much. Even then, he cared more about being a Pokemon breeder than battling. The many loves of Brock. Brock professes his love to just about every pretty girl he sees, but fate has it that it never works out, even when there's a girl who's attracted to him. From time to time, Brock's unerring affection for pretty girls does have its uses. For one thing, he's always able to tell Nurse Joy's and Officer Jenny's apart based on their scent, or sometimes just a vibe. And even when the eyes may be fooled, Brock's heart isn't. Just as a Pokedex correctly identifies Meowth even when it's in disguise, Brock feels nothing for Jessie disguised as Nurse Joy, or Phantom Thief Brody disguised as a lovely female researcher. Let's see. Temaku. She loves him not. For once, Brock isn't interested when a girl falls in love with him, but he soon realizes he feels for Temaku. After all, by then, it's already too late. Fickle Temaku is completely over Brock and head over heels for a local doctor instead. Pike Queen Lucy. The daring Pike Queen of the Battle Frontier is quiet, almost shy in person, but she blushes when Brock tries to charm her and seems to take a real interest in him. Okay, now let's continue this. We have Mudkip here. Marshtomp evolved from a responsible Mudkip that shared its caretaker instincts with Brock. It lets its other Mudkip charges to join. It left the other Mudkip charges to join Brock's team and eventually evolved into Marshtomp, but suffers from the same unluckiness in love as its trainer. Next, we are going to go to Lotad here. Brock's shy and earnest Lotad evolved into a Lombre after falling into a dry well. Lombre had a poor romantic track record. It lost the heart of another trainer's Mawile when it evolved into a boisterous, ongoing Ludicolo after coming into contact with a water stone. Now we have Pineco. While in Johto, looking for apricorns, Brock saved a Pineco from Team Rocket. Pineco had a habit of self-destructing at the most inconvenient moments, but once it evolved into Fortress, it became a dependable member of Brock's team. Next we have Bonsly. Brock lovingly cared for a baby Bonsly that he found haunting a ninja school. From that Bonsly, too young even to eat solid food, Brock eventually raised a loyal Pseudo-Widow that mimics everyone that it is around. Okay, next. We have Happiny. Hatched from an egg, Happiny was one when Brock entered Croagunk into a Pokemon dress-up contest. After rescuing Happiny from Team Rocket, Brock was able to bond with it. And we have Croagunk. Brock and Croagunk share a bond that can only be described as special. Croagunk acts taciturn, yet always looks out for Brock in its own way, usually by hitting him with a poison jab whenever he tries to woo a beautiful lady. Now we have Todd Snap. I think that he's the hero from Pokemon Snap. I'm not sure, though. Let's see if it says. Todd Snap. Team Rocket once hired Todd Snap to capture Pikachu. What they didn't realize is that Todd only knows how to capture Pokemon one way, and that's with a camera. He doesn't call himself a #1 photo master for nothing. Let's see what this says. Todd lives and breathes Pokemon photography. He has no Pokemon of his own, but he's captured countless on film and claims to have the world's best collection of candid grass-type Pokemon photos. He first met Ash in Kanto, and the two of them didn't hit it off immediately, even though they share a unique connection. Todd took a famous photo of the Aerodactyl that was carrying Ash away. And there it is. Okay, let's see. His obsession with photography, photographing an Articuno finally paid off and a print of the photo now hangs in the Snowtop Peak Pokemon Center in Johto. He decided to stay there for a while and continue photographing Pokemon that live in the mountains. Yeah, that's an Articuno, all right. Todd and Ash soon bonded over their shared love of Pokemon, and he's even done some traveling with the gang in Kanto and Johto. Todd has smoothed out his early flashes of ego, but he's still obsessed with photography and will risk life and limb just to get the perfect shot. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Richie. Picture Ash only mature for his age and adept at everything from solving problems to jump starting a defunct elevator. That's Richie. He even has a Pikachu that likes to ride on his shoulder. Richie and Ash first met in the Indigo League, where they teamed up to stop a Team Rocket Pokemon heist. Richie was taken aback by Ash's reckless antics, but they became great friends once they discovered just how similar they are. To their shock, they faced each other in the 5th round of the Indigo League, even though Ash was almost a no-show thanks to Team Rocket. Richie believed in his new friend and refused to let the referee call the match until Ash arrived. Richie can go a little crazy over Pokemon just like Ash, but he's usually the more level-headed of the two. Even when he loses in the Indigo League, he doesn't indulge in self-pity. He simply decides he'll do better next time. A maturity that makes an impression on Ash. Now we have Richie's Pokemon. We have Rose the Talo. We have Happy the Butterfree. We have Cruz the Puppetar. We have Zippo the Charmeleon. We have Sparky the Pikachu and Eevee. He didn't bother naming his Eevee. That's kind of odd. Okay, now we're going to read about Pallet Town. Throughout all of Ash's journeys, Pallet Town remains stable. The center of his adventures. There may not be much excitement in this little town, but there's everything a trainer needs to welcome him home. A warm bed, a home-cooked meal, and the friendly faces of family and friends. Pallet Town is a quiet town surrounded by rolling hills and fields, not far from a river, mountains, and even a rocky valley. Much of Pallet Town is rural, and even the center of town is small and sleepy, but there's usually some activity at the local shop run by an elderly lady who's always happy to chat with Professor Oak about the latest issue of Pokemon Monthly. She's always happy to chat, period. She's the biggest gossip in Pallet Town. Inside her shop is a booth where she has her own one-woman DJ gig. From there, she can make announcements over the town's loudspeaker system and play music. Her station's call sign is WPOK or WPOK. Delia Ketchum loves her garden, and she's taken Ash on many visits to nearby Xanadu Nursery for supplies. Filled with plants from top to bottom, Xanadu looks just like a botanical garden. Oh, looks more like a botanical garden than a nursery. As lovely as it is, visitors must be careful since some of the plants have toxic defenses. Ooh, that sounds dangerous. Ash's house. Okay, it says, located on an unpaved road in a quiet neighborhood, Ash's house is as peaceful as can be. In the absence of her son, Ash's mother Delia keeps busy with her garden and social visits to Professor Oak. Her Mr. Mime helps her out with the chores. The upper level of the house has a workspace where Delia sews Ash's clothes. And there she is sewing Ash's clothes, apparently. Professor Oak's laboratory. Professor Oak and his assistant Tracy live and work in a complex on top of a hill and across a small river. Behind his home and laboratory is a sprawling ranch that has ample room for lots of Pokemon to run free. Trainers come to Professor Oak to receive their first Pokemon or consult his expertise, while researchers contact him with their own scientific issues. And it says here, in addition to computers and scientific equipment, the lab has a storage area full of Pokeballs being held for traveling trainers. We've got time for another page, I think. I don't know. This one looks kind of big. Gary Oak. Every hero has a rival, someone who brings out the best in him. Rivals from day one, Gary and Ash seem destined to get on each other's nerves, but their passion to always do better drives each to excel. Their epic rivalry started very early. While fishing one day, Ash and Gary snagged the same Pokemon. After some heated words, they both yank from opposite sides of the river as at their prize. It turns out that to be a Pokeball. When the Pokeball snaps in half, each youngster claims it for their own. To this day, each keeps his half as a symbol of their competition. Okay, now it says cheerleaders. Gary is so overconfident that he has his own team of cheerleaders. Unfortunately, the cheerleaders have a bad effect on Brock, who becomes so infatuated with them in the finals that he can't seem to stay focused on his friend Ash's battle. We're going to read Reputation Uphold, and then we'll go over all those Pokemon, which shouldn't take too long. Gary Oak needs to be Gary Oak. That is, he needs to uphold the Oak family name. His grandfather is, after all, the famous and world-renowned Professor Samuel Oak, and those are some mighty big shoes to fill. Unfortunately, he doesn't get a lot of favoritism shown to him, and his brash and arrogant manner could be part of the problem. His overconfidence and attitude begin to change when he experiences more of the world. In a furious 6-on-6 battle for the Silver Conference Finals, Ash beats Gary. Cocky at the beginning, Gary finally admits to Ash that they would have been better friends than rivals. Soon after, he decides he wants to become a Pokemon researcher just like his grandfather. And we're going to go over these really quick. He has a Blastoise. This was Gary's first choice, and it also would have been Ash's first choice as well, only revealed as a fully evolved Blastoise. This was Gary's first Pokemon. Nidoking. In an early epic battle with Giovanni, Gary Oak goes for the Earth Badge at the Viridian City Gym. Giovanni plays the battle hard and fast. Nidoqueen. When Oak's lab comes under attack by Team Rocket, a mysterious stranger who turns out to be Gary saves the day with his Nidoqueen. Scizor. After some back and forth between Ash and Gary in the Johto League Silver Conference, the battle comes down to Snorlax versus Scizor. Scizor defeats Snorlax. At least you get the chance to meet me, Mr. Gary. To you, show some respect. That's what he says. Okay, and he has Arcanine. Bringing Mewtwo in that wipes out almost everything and thrown at it, including two of Gary's Pokemon, Nidoking and Arcanine. Oh, did I miss something here? Doduo. Although making only a brief cameo as Gary returns to Professor Oak's lab, this Pokemon does end up evolving into Dodrio and playing a more major role later on. Eevee. Eevee is one of those rare Pokemon that can evolve a number of different ways. The time of day, the opponent, and its feeling for the trainer all are factors, so it's no wonder that Gary's Eevee evolved into Umbreon, but not before defeating Ash and Pikachu. Golem. Golem comes into battle Charizard, which seems like it would be a bad matchup for Charizard, but of course Ash thinks outside the box and comes up with a unique way to defeat it. Magmar. Magmar is Gary's second Pokemon used against Ash in the finals. Magmar is sent packing by Ash's Heracross. And Electivire. Larger than Pikachu, Electivire has won the only time he has faced off with Pikachu. And we're going to end it right here, and we're going to pick up here with Team Rocket, looks like. We're going to learn about Jesse, James, and Meowth. And on down, we'll learn about Cerulean City, the Indigo Conferences, and even go over the Kanto battles, the gym battles, I think. Yeah, and all the different badges. That's cool. And then the legendaries. So, yeah. Let me put a little bookmark in here so I can find this place again. We have been reading Pokemon Visual Guide by Silvestri and Katherine Fang. And if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. And if you want to support me in any way, all that information will be in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.